Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Cinderella phenomena. And we're in Rod's path, and we're like, working our way in, getting all in. He doesn't quite hate us, he still doesn't like us, but every once in a while he's like, smirking at us. And he worries about us, because his secret little bunny pal told us. Sebby! Anyway. Days pass without any real conflict. I run into Sir Alcester again in the hallways, but his eyes pass over me as if I'm something to be ignored. Delora, who had been ignoring me as she'd been busy with other priorities, returned to the Martian yesterday to discuss something important with Parfait. It's not as if she's been any help since she came here. She mostly stays in my room while I run around doing errands for Emmeline and taking on other chores as they're handed to me. Right now, I'm headed to the palace gates as I hurry to meet Emmeline. She's going out to town to meet Viorica again. I was told to meet her here. Prince Spacey! Prince Spacey! I turn around to see Fritz walking in my direction. I was seriously, no lie, literally, when she was talking about Sir Alcester or whatever, and I was like, Alcaster, and I was like, where the hell happened to Fritz? Like, he was asking us, and we're like, there's not time to talk about it, and then he just never, we haven't seen him for like a month. Ever since I told him to refer to me by my name, he's been stumbling over not using my title. I rarely see him, but when I do, we don't have much time to discuss anything. Can I help you with anything, Fritz? It's been a while. Have you managed to complete one of your good deeds? Days after I had originally run into Fritz, I managed to have a quick conversation with him regarding my curse. It's been a long time since that conversation happened. Recently, I've barely seen Fritz. I hear rumors that he's been reassigned somewhere outside the palace. I show my pendant and point to the piece of the second glass slipper. I managed to get one several days ago. Spacey, that's wonderful. I knew you could get one. Only 2 more and then I can break this curse. Ah, Fritz, Miss Spacey. I did not think that the 2 of you were acquainted. We both turn our heads at the same time when Mithros suddenly appears from around the corner, the usual smile on his lips. He knows. He fucking knows. See, he's here. Fairy or a witch, you bastard. Sir Mithros? Fritz! I believe Sir Alcester is looking for you. Right. Sorry. Spacey? I must take my leave now. Of course. Fritz bows to Sir Mithros before walking off, leaving me alone with Sir Mithros. Mithros does not say anything, but continues to smile at me. His staring makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable. Is there something on my face? Excuse me. I curtsy and start to walk off when Sir Mithros calls my name. Spacey? Yes? I just wanted to thank you for your hard work and dedication to our princess. I look at him puzzled by his sudden gratitude. Don't worry. Everything will soon be remedied. Excuse me? My apologies. I did not mean to keep you. He completely ignores my question. He dips his head slightly before turning and walking away. The smile still on his face. Come on, he's a bad witch or a fairy, I don't know. What's that all about? So, that's the thing. So, shouldn't she tell Delora, or Delorca, or whatever, Delora, what the fuck is her name? The fuck is her name? I can't remember because they have weird-ass motherfucking names in this shit. But, shouldn't we tell them? And be like, dude, what's up with Sir Mithros? Like, he's fucking weird, and he stares at me, and he says weird shit. Like, he's creepy. I think you should investigate him. Rod and Emmeline are already waiting for me outside the carriage by the time I arrive at the palace gates. Rod has his arms crossed and looks at me irritable. His face is perpetually stuck in that scowl, it seems. I would apologize. I'm sorry, I got stopped by Sir Mithros. You are late. My apologies. You're so grumpy, but you've been late many times before too, Rod. Rod just shrugs his shoulders as he turns and heads into the carriage. Emmeline, whatever her name is, whatever, sighs before looking at me. I just went, shall we? Of course. The 3 of us sit in silence as the carriage rolls toward the town. The knight assigned to guard duty is sitting out front with the driver, watching for any disturbances. Emmeline glances forlornly out the window while Rod silently looks out the other as he rests his chin on the palm of his hand. I notice Emmeline pausing to glance at Rod every now and then, looking restless. Finally, she breaks the silence. Are you still mad that I asked you to come along to visit Viorica? You could have declined the invitation, Rod. And if you would have only told me what happened between the two of you, I would do my best to remedy the situation. Rod notices me looking at him and scowls. He returns his moody gaze to the window. I have nothing to say, Em. But you used to be good friends with Viorca too, Rod. But then ever since you were... Emmeline stops herself, but I know that she's referring to his curse. After that day, you've kept your distance from her. Then, when you found out about the wedding, you became even colder toward her. Yeah, maybe something about his curse has something to do with her. I don't know if he was in love with her, maybe. But he said he doesn't want to break his curse, but wouldn't you... What, bird? What the fuck? Are you just freaking out because of the trees? Just got windy all of a sudden, but he just got all... What's the matter, buddy? Buddy? Why did you just... Why? What are you doing? What are you... Okay, he just flew into the fucking bathroom. I don't know if I can... I'm sorry. Hold on. What are you doing in there? Come out, stupid. Thank you. He just... Because he got freaked out. Are you freaked out by the wind? It's just wind. Why the fuck did you fly from where we were sitting into the fucking bathroom that's dark? What is wrong? What? What? And you keep looking at the ceiling. There's something up there. What? You're freaking me out! He does this. He makes this weird noise and gets all like, oh, like if there's a bug anywhere. Like he just fucking sees them and you're like, what are you looking at? So like, I don't know if it was just because all of a sudden it got really windy. And he has been sitting on me like curled up sleeping. And so like, I don't know if he could see the wind like out the window and just it freaked him out. But then he just like went ballistic and he went flying into the bathroom. Like, I don't know why. And he just landed on, it's like, it's dark in there. Like he normally doesn't fly into dark rooms because he can't see. You know what I don't know. Anyway, sorry. We have to, we're on bird patrol here. Oh yeah, so we could reread that. I don't know. It's weird. His curse has something to do with her. Like, I don't know if he's in love with her or like, I don't know.
Even Viorca's worried about you, Rod. She worries that she might have offended you somehow.
Yeah, by marrying someone else, he's in love with her, but he's supposed to be mine, so I'm not gonna help them. I'm not gonna help you break your curse so you can go romance her and leave me, because that's not how this fucking works. That's like the bad path. Emmeline. There's a hint of warning in his tone. Is it possible that Viorca is related to Rod's curse, considering the timing? Emmeline opens her mouth again to say something, but then suddenly stops and returns to the window, her expression mirroring Rod's own gloom. These are reverse curses, so we're like an asshole and we have to learn how to be good. Cinderella was good. But his is the mermaid curse, right? Because he lost his voice. And he used to sing, so it was like the Little Mermaid thing. My brain is trying to wrap around the reverseness and how the curses work to try to, work it out. But I don't think I'm smart enough right now to do this. Because it's like you have to write and be like, okay, so the Little Mermaid gave up her voice in order to get legs. Right? But like, that wouldn't be like, he's like, no, if I break the curse, I turn into a merperson. But like, so I'm really curious to how I can't reverse it. I can't reverse think Disney princess. I don't know why, it's just not working in my brain. Like, literally, I feel like I'm just like, it's like I'm reading gibberish. Like you're trying to do a math problem, but it's just a bunch of random fucking numbers, and you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to add here. Like, I can't figure it out. It just makes me feel so stupid right now. I don't know. We're silent. We're all silent until we arrive at the toy shop.
Emmeline, good to see you again. And you too. Spacey, was it?
I nod in acknowledgement. Viorca nods politely at the knight who stands guard at the shop door.
It's just the two of you today?
Emmeline and I both turn around only to see that Rod has indeed vanished. Emmeline frowns, looking both bewildered and disappointed.
He was right behind us.
I'll go look for him.
Thank you, Spacey.
Just as I expected, Rod is leaning against the wall of an alley just outside the toy shop. Okay, I'm just thinking, stay with him. Like, just sit there with him. Don't talk. Don't try to ask. Don't try to, you know what I mean? Don't try to, you know what I mean? Like, don't try to... Yeah. If we try to talk to him, he's just going to be angry, so we just let him simmer. Let him simmer. I can tell by Rod's stiff posture that anything I say to him will fall on deaf ears. So I move to stand next to him instead. And I feel like something that she would do in her bitchiness is like, what's your fucking problem? But I feel like with this, we need to just... I'm going to be conscious of your thoughts and your feelings, and I'm just going to sit there and be quiet. Because that would be something more that he would appreciate versus what she would naturally want to do. I move to stand next to him instead. I lean against the wall with him. What are you doing? Keeping you company? Rod raises an eyebrow at me. Since when have you even liked my company? Well, I'd rather be here than stay inside the toy shop and listen to Emmeline and Viorica talk. So you're not here to try and get me to talk? Well, it's not as if you would answer any of my questions. I've tried forcing you to talk and know how ineffective it is. Also that. But I will be here if you do want to talk. Rod eyes me suspiciously. Since when did you start listening to others? When you're the personal maid of someone who enjoys talking, you learn to listen. Emmeline has been happier these past few months. I hate to admit it, but it seems to be because of you. Are you actually praising me? Rod looks away, his cheeks tinted pink. Think whatever you like. I don't know why, but for some reason I'm happy that Rod gave me a compliment. Princess Spacey! Rod and I turn around. Oh, it's Waltz. Okay. I was like, how did I do his voice? I forgot because we haven't been around. Rod and I turn at the sound of a familiar voice. Waltz pauses in front of us with a bright smile. It's nice to see you again, Princess. Waltz, what are you doing here? Well, I was about to deliver a letter to the prince, but I guess that won't be necessary anymore. A letter? Is Lady Parfait asking for me? Not just you. She wants to see the princess as well. Me? It's been a while since I was last at the Marchand. Is something wrong? They need to discuss something important with the princess. Come to the Marchand tonight. Tonight? But we're already here, so why not now? Waltz's eyes shift to our carriage. You're here with Princess Emmeline, yes? You can't make her wait too long. What they need to discuss with you is complicated. It'll take some time to explain. The toy shop door opens and Emmeline stands in the doorway as she says her goodbyes to Viorica. Remember, tonight. These are Waltz's last words before he slips back into the crowd. Emmeline's visit with Viorica was briefer than I thought it would be. Now all of us are headed back to the palace. Rod had not uttered a word on our way back. I can tell that this is making Emmeline agitated as she continues to glance at Rod expectantly. If you have something to say, say it. Emmeline stares at me. You obviously want to say something to Prince Rod. The only way to get your answers is to ask him directly. Rod does not turn around. It's as if he does not hear me. Emmeline clasps her hands and sighs. Well... I glance at Rod, who still persistently stares out the window, his eyes focused on nothing. He's pretending not to hear us. How immature. Rod... Viorica said that... Viorica was sad that you weren't there today. She was certain that you stayed outside to avoid seeing her. What is going on with you? I'm not in the mood to answer your questions, Em. Emmeline grips the edges of her dress, her expression becoming more rigid. You've been keeping secrets from us ever since you were cursed. We don't even know why you were cursed or how to help you break it. He lost his voice. So I'm wondering if... It has something to do with Viorica, but, like, is it that, like... is he in love with her? Or it's like he's got to give her up to someone else. So if she marries someone else, you know, happily, and gets her at, like, whatever, then it breaks his curse and he's like, no! You know what I don't know. I don't know. There's something to deal with her. Is he in love with her? Or was he? Or, like, I don't know. But I mean, like, even if you were cursed, like, like, you could still be in love with her. Was that part of his curse that he couldn't be with her? Like, I don't know. Wait, the rest of the family doesn't know anything about the circumstances of Rod's curse? I thought that he told them everything, but all they know is he's cursed. But that's the thing. I'm cursed and my whole family forgot me. He's cursed and his family remembers him. But obviously, like, his curse is a different type. But it's like, well, damn! Shit. That's part of my curse, but...
We're a family! We're supposed to help each other through problems!
Emmeline's hands are shaking as she gazes at her brother. She's like, Spacey, I'm sorry about the curse thing. And you're like, it's okay, I know, sure. Don't worry about it. What? I didn't hear a thing. The carriage stops, and as soon as the servant opens the door, Emmeline quickly steps out and rushes back towards the palace. Rod watches her go quietly, though his eyebrows are furrowed and he looks guilty. I silently shake my head at him before running after Emmeline. Emmeline stands in the hallway with her hands to her chest. She breathes slowly in and out as if she's on the verge of tears. When she notices me behind her, she turns away and wipes her eyes with the back of her hand.
I'm sorry for storming off like that. I was just very frustrated at Rod. I said something I shouldn't have said back there. If anyone finds out about this...
They won't. Your secret is safe with me. Emmeline flashes me a grateful smile before looking at the sky. One moment, Rod is running down the hallway. The next, he is stopped in front of us and is trying to catch his breath. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too, Rod, but right now I'd like to be alone.
Of course.
I'm sorry, Spacey, but could you leave me for now?
She doesn't even wait for my answer before walking away, leaving me alone with Rod. You made her cry, Rod. I'm fully aware of that. Why are you hiding your curse from your family? You wouldn't understand. I'm doing this to protect them. Protect them? Rod silently shakes his head. They wouldn't understand. Those are the last ominous words Rod speaks before rushing off, leaving me alone in the hall. What happened to him? The hallways are silent at this time of night, and most everyone in the palace prepares for bed. I'm now on my way to our meeting place. Rod told me earlier to wait for him here. I had thought that he would make me go to the Marsh Inn by myself after what transpired with Emmeline, but I was wrong. Emmeline was so upset today. Never seen her like this before. I turned my thoughts back to the Marsh Inn and what Walt said earlier. I wonder what Parfait wants to talk with us about. I feel my heart beating erratically against my chest. Why do I feel something bad is going to happen? I realize that I've been standing in the open for a while. Perhaps I should move. People might find my standing here suspicious. I start walking again. I'm surprised when I feel a hand close around my wrist and pull me into the darkness. I open my mouth, but a hand muffles my scream. Shh. Rod. Rod? I was trying to say it quietly, but it came out like a whisper. Rod's gaze is icy. He speaks quietly, but I can feel the anger simmering underneath his words. What if someone saw you just standing there? Have you even thought about how they might get suspicious? His tone is so accusatory that for a moment I cannot find my voice. Then he is right. I should have been more careful. Sorry. Rod stares at me, surprised. What? I never thought I'd hear you apologize. Especially to me. No. Well, at least I know how to apologize, unlike you. And why would I ever have a reason to apologize to you? Because you've done nothing but treat me coldly, even when I've done nothing to personally attack you. Rod scowls at me, but does not say anything. Instead, he sighs and takes my hand, pulling me after him. Oh, that's so cute. He's like holding my hand. Look at the little bunny. The bunny's like waving. What? Let's go before the guard sees us. I have no energy to argue with Rod, so I allow him to pull me along. I love the fact that the bunny's like waving at us. It's fucking cute. I expected to say something. I'm sorry. What? He apologized to me? Don't make me repeat myself. I did not hear you clearly. If there's one thing I know about you, it's that you're not deaf. Of course I'm not. Shh! Someone will hear you. I glare at Rod, but he doesn't respond.
Princess, your hand is really warm.
Rod freezes in place and glares at Sebi, who seems to be shrugging.
Your thoughts are too loud, Rod.
I fucking love his little bunny.
I love his little buddy where he's like, "You're cute."
And he's like, "Shut up, stupid rabbit." That's so fucking adorable. It tells us what he's thinking about us. He's like, "You're just screaming in my ear. I have to say your thoughts out loud." Through the dim lights, I can actually see a faint blush on Rod's cheeks. You are blushing. I am not. He lets go of my hand and starts to walk toward the secret passage with me trailing behind him. We look around to make sure no one's in sight before we both slip inside. I follow closely behind Rod in silence. My eyes move upward to the little bunny plush hanging on his shoulder. Sebi, I've been wondering, have you ever talked with Rod's family as yourself? Rod suddenly stops and scowls over his shoulder at me. What? I'm asking Sebi, not you.
No, I don't, Princess. Rod doesn't want me to talk with others since he thinks that I might say something unnecessary.
So much for that. You still speak even when it's unnecessary. In the dim lighting of the tunnel, I think I can see a faint pink in Rod's cheeks, but it's probably a trick of the strange lighting. Rod is right. Sebi has blurted out his thoughts more than a number of times. You're not doing a very good job. That's kind of, you're not doing a very good job, or, like, I mean, that's, what do you mean by that? Sounds like an innocuous question, but like, yeah, well, you're not doing a very good job of it. Like, because I just want to say it. I know it might be a dick move, and it's probably going to get us, like, beaten, but I just want to fucking say, you're not doing a good job, bunny. Sebi sighs. You're not doing a very good job.
How can I not when Rod here is thinking too loudly? It makes my head ache.
You get headaches?
That's not the point. The point is that when he thinks on something too long, his head becomes cloudy and really full, like it's gonna explode. That's why I got to explain for him. He's not good at expressing his thoughts, so I...
Rod cuts Sebi off by pinching his cheeks.
Ow, ow, ow! Okay, I'll stop talking now.
Rod sighs and continues walking. Rod, have you spoken with Emmeline since the earlier incident? No. As much as I want to ask him again about his curse, I doubt he'll divulge anything right now. I decide to keep my thoughts to myself as we head for the Martian. When we arrive at the Martian, Parfait and Delora are there to welcome us. The others, however, are nowhere in sight.
It's been a while, Princess. Thank you for bringing her here safely, Prince Rod.
Where is everyone?
They're all resting in their rooms now. It wasn't necessary that they be here for what Delora and I want to discuss with you.
I'll be staying in the tavern then. Rod's about to head for the tavern when Delora stops him. You don't have to leave. What we're going to say involves you too, since you're staying at the palace as well. Rod looks at her curiously, but asks no questions. Mithros is evil as fuck? I told you! Just waiting. Parfait and Delora gesture us over to the settee, where we all take our seats. Is this something Rod and I must know because we're at the palace? I have a bad feeling about this.
Before we start, I'd like to congratulate you on your first good deed, Princess. Delora told me all about it, and I can see the extra piece on your necklace as well.
Parfait smiles at me, her eyes filled with pride. Her faith in me rekindles the dwindling confidence I had.
If only you'd seen how happy Delora was when she announced it to us.
You didn't have to go into specifics, Parfait.
Oh, are you embarrassed, Delora?
She smiles at Delora teasingly before turning back to me.
Anyway, I know you can do it, Princess. Only 2 more to go and you can break your curse.
Yeah, keep up the good work, Princess. And you too, Rod. So what is it you wanted to discuss with us? I conducted a little investigation while I was with Spacey in the palace, and I found out something important. Something important? I discovered that there is a witch in the palace. A witch? In the palace? Mithros? You're like, it's Mithros, right? Because hello? She's wearing a thingy. He's got a bunch of thingies. Yeah. I felt a tinge of magic while I was there. It was faint, but definitely there. I don't remember feeling it before when I was there as your doll, Princess. It seems that the witch is using a glamour to hide himself or herself from us.
A glamour is a magic that only very experienced witches can cast. which means the witch we're dealing with is no ordinary witch. They have the potential to be very powerful.
But what would a witch be doing in the palace in the first place? This witch could be after the king, but what? Parfait and Delora glance at each other, looking conflicted. It's Parfait who faces me first, her expression grave.
I'm afraid there's some other possibility we must make you aware of, Princess. And in order for us to explain it, we must give you the truth.
Uh-oh. We're gonna find out our mom is a witch. Moving closer. The truth. My only answer is silence. I shift my gaze to Rod, but he avoids my eyes. What is going on? Princess, it's very likely that this witch is in the palace looking for you. What?
I cast a glamour on you a long time ago so that you could remain hidden from magical eyes. I did it to protect you, but this witch in question can see through the spell I've cast on you. It's my belief that they're actively looking for you.
I close my eyes and massage the temples of my head as I feel a headache coming on. Wait, you said before that the witches want to see their curses unbroken. But this sounds as if they have another motive altogether. What reason could they have for trailing me?
The Tenenbrarum has been without a bearer for a long time, ever since the end of the war. A new bearer, however, will soon arise, and the crystal is ready to support them. Some of the witches, the wicked ones, want to make sure that the Tenenbrarum continues to spread darkness, even with this new bearer in charge.
Okay. What does it have to do with me? Your mother was the bearer? Delora crosses her arm, her expression grim. The title of the bearer is passed down from one descendant to the next. Princess, the last Tenenbrarum bearer was the late Queen of Angeal. Your mother. I felt my blood go cold. That's why our mother was such a fucking bitch! What? And why we're a bitch and we're like, maybe the witches aren't wrong. Told you. And they kept saying, oh, daughter of that witch. So, and she's like, what? And that's why everyone hates us. We're the daughter of a witch. That's why they fucking hate us. So they knew the queen was a witch, but we didn't quite know she was the evilest witch. But as you're the queen's daughter, you are the next heir. Come your 18th birthday, you'll inherit the title of Tenenbrarum bearer. Mother, a witch? Impossible! Why would you spout such lies? I narrow my eyes at them, searching for some hint that they're lying to me. Delora and Parfait have never turned their sad eyes away from me. Rod glances at me briefly before turning away, looking uncomfortable.
Hildir, your mother and I used to work together to maintain balance, but then the witch hunt drove her mad and turned her heart to ice.
But she never used any magic. I would have known if she was a witch.
It's possible that you did in the past, but then it seems she erased all your memories of her true identity. Delora was already able to ascertain that most of your memories of her had been snatched away. Hildir needs you to remain obedient so that when you finally did inherit her role as the bearer, you would continue to do as she wanted.
That's why we're an asshole. My thoughts feel as if they're spinning endlessly on an axis. The real reason I cursed you was to see if you're truly capable of goodness, Princess. Hildir's influence clung to you even after her death, and we feared that you would continue her previous work. That Angeal might once again fall to darkness if you were not able to help the dark emotions in your heart. So then you cursed me because you were terrified of what I would do if I became the bearer as I was. My only answer is silence. Now I understand why the people hated me. It was because I'm my mother's daughter. I cannot help but reach out to touch the pendant on my necklace as a feeling of dread washes over me.
We know that there's goodness in you, Princess. We only wanted you to realize it by breaking your curse.
Her face sighs, looking guilty.
It was a selfish act on our part, I know. But we could not risk another great war.
Forgive them. It's understandable. They believed that I would have plunged the world into a war? I turned to Rod, who was yet to speak since the conversation started. Did you know about all of this? Everyone knows the story of the Tenenbrarum witch and her daughter. Everyone except for me. I glanced down at my hands, suddenly feeling numb. I am a witch. and I'll become the Tenenbrarum's next bearer. Just the thought of it makes me sick. I think back to my childhood. I can still recall the glares that everyone gave me when I was a child. They were scared of me because I was my mother's daughter? And what about the king? Did he never love me because I was the daughter of a witch? Why did he marry a witch? I'm seriously like, why? That's my question. Was it forced on him? But if that's the case, if my mother was so wicked, then why did the king marry her in the first place? Oh my god. This breaks my heart so much, and I kind of understand why we're an asshole. I feel for her now. Hildur threatened to kill the woman that he loved if he didn't marry her. She threatened to kill Ophelia. Ophelia? So the kings loved Ophelia from the very beginning. I clenched my hands into tight fists. After Mother died, he was able to reunite with his true love. And since then he's treated Emmeline and Rod better than he ever treated me, even though I'm his daughter by blood. I want to feel angry about this revelation, but instead I feel a dreary emptiness inside of me. A heavy feeling begins to settle my chest, suffocating my heart. He never really loved me. Spacey. Rod's voice snaps me out of my thoughts. That's when I realize that a stray tear has made it down my cheek. I quickly wipe it away with the back of my hand, angry at myself for showing weakness in front of them. You must be happy to see me like this. What? Your mother was made queen, and you and your sister became royals overnight. It's something out of a fairy tale, isn't it? You thought you had the perfect life until I came back into it. I never asked for this to happen. I just wanted to... Rod suddenly moves his hand to Sebi's mouth, muffling whatever other words the plush was going to say for him. What is it you want to say, Rod? It's nothing. I can assure you, however, the power that comes with the crown has always been irrelevant to my family and I. So stop assuming that everyone around you is after your title or your riches. Did your time with my sister not teach you anything? I'm about to angrily retort when I suddenly stop, my heart sinking. I've already recognized that Emmeline is more complex than I thought she was. She's also told me that she never wanted to be a princess. My mother would have married the king if my father were... wouldn't have married the king if my father was still here. Delora looks between the two of us and sighs. And here I thought your relationship had improved. Now it seems like it's back to square one. I cross my arms and turn away annoyed. Do you have anything else to add, Parfait? If not, I'd like to return to the palace.
Princess, stay vigilant and be careful about who you trust.
Trust? How do you know who I trust? What makes you think I even trust you? The anger that I was expecting earlier suddenly rises to the surface. For all I know, Parfait and Delora could be feeding me lies, playing with me the way Delora did when she first cursed me.
I don't expect you to believe what we've told you. Perhaps it was not yet the right time to reveal everything to you, but please, you need to be careful.
I stand up and look at them, my arms now hanging limply at my sides. How am I meant to trust anyone when when you all have been lying to me this entire time?
Spacey.
If you don't believe us, then try asking the king who Hildur truly is. I never even thought about asking the king about Mother. Rod, you should watch your back too. It's possible that this witch in question could be plotting something against the royal family as well. They've been in the palace for a long time, after all. She looks at me, then at Rod, her expression somber. I won't be able to stay with you anymore. I had to pick up and leave a few days ago because I was certain he'd caught a trace of my magic. He probably already has. I understand.
Anyways, Spacey is right to return to the palace now. Someone may have noticed your absence if you're gone much longer. You two should leave now.
Let us know if you notice anything unusual. I will.
We'll see you again soon, Princess. Remember, stay vigilant.
Rod and I leave the Martian in silence. Here in the secret tunnels, we're suffocated under even more silence, but still neither of us makes an effort to speak. I'm still stuck inside my own head, sifting through my troubled thoughts. I cannot reconcile the fact that the wicked witch who led the witches during the war was my mother. I didn't even realize how many people hated my mother until after she passed, and they still spoke about how cruel a queen she was. Yeah, I mean, if I were her, I'd just break the fuck down. I I never understood why, since she had always been the perfect person in my eyes. I never connected my mother with the Tenebrarum bearer, but what Parfait and Delora just told me makes sense. I was living a lie all those years. A lie that my mother crafted so that I remained cold and bitter even after she passed away. And Delora and Parfait say I'm meant to inherit the power of the Tenebrarum from my mother. I don't want that burden. I almost bump into Rob's back. I keep messing up his name. Rod's back when he suddenly stops walking. He turns around and looks at me with a serious expression. I cannot help but feel judged beneath the weight of that gaze. If you're going to tell me that you never wanted me as your partner because my mother was a witch, then I wasn't going to say that. What? I won't lie. The first time I saw you, I thought you were like your mother. You were cold, harsh, and selfish. I never wanted to have anything to do with you. That was why I was so against this partnership, but you've changed. Rod's expression softens. As you and Em have grown closer, I've seen that you're not like your mother. She speaks fondly of you, and I can tell she really enjoys your company. That's why, even if I don't have plans to break my curse, I'll still do what I can to help you break yours. It's the least I can do as your partner. I stare at Rod in shock. This is the first time he's ever been so nice to me. Well, why are you staring at me like that? I'm only doing this because you're important to my sister. Rod turns away, his face beet red.
Liar.
Rod reaches up to pinch Sebby's face.
Ew.
Compliment him? Thank him. Both of them could be good. Well, thanks. Honestly, it's hard with him because I feel like my normal reaction would be try to go down the compliment him. Done. Yeah, everybody likes a compliment. But with him it's hard, right? I think at this juncture we're safe to compliment him because I know that I feel like it was a bit better talk to him. You know what? I'm just gonna stand next to him. What, you're not gonna try to talk to me? Yeah, I know you don't like to talk. Prod him constantly for his thing. Maybe when he's opened up to us a little more, he's starting to open up to us. So I feel like maybe we could get away with a compliment. I feel like we're at least on a decent path. Whether I don't know if, like I said, if there's a normal, bad endings. I don't know. I think there's only good and bad, but I don't know if there's multiple. I don't know. I'm not sure even if I read that right, but who would have thought that you were actually capable of being nice? What? Was that supposed to be a compliment? Yes? You're always so grumpy. I don't even think I've seen a genuine smile on your face before. I can say the same for you. Birds of a feather flock together, then. Rod stares at me dumbfounded. I can't help but smile a little at his expression. Do you really dislike the fact that we're so similar? Rod is still staring at me wide-eyed. You just smiled. I did not?
Rod thinks your smile is pretty.
I do not.
You two really are the same.
Fucking love Zippy. I take a deep breath to calm the erratic beating of my heart. Anyway, I still want to help you with your curse, Rod. Why do you refuse to break it? Rod stares down at his feet, expression melancholy. Because I can't. Rod stops and shakes his head. He says nothing else, and I don't probe him anymore, especially not after seeing the distant look on his face. We walk through the corridor and back to our rooms after we say our goodbyes. I wonder what Rod was going to say.
Mother, look! Eleanor got me this gift!
Eleanor?
She's my maid and my friend.
Princesses don't make friends with their servants.
But she's really nice. She even taught me how to braid my hair like...
Those servants are only nice to you because you're the princess. They only pretend to be your friends so that they can have power over you.
But Eleanor would never...
What reason do I have to lie to you? When have I ever lied to you, little one?
You've never lied to me.
She's lied to you your whole fucking life, but that is correct. Tomorrow I'll remedy the situation. I'll hire a new maid. You're not to befriend this one no matter what she says.
But Mother...
Are you arguing with me, Spacey?
No, I'm sorry, Mother.
Mom's a bitch. If I break my curse, I have to go back to the sea. It's been days since Parfait and Delora revealed my mother's true identity and the inevitable responsibility I am to have on my shoulders once I turn 18. I've been trying to ask the king about Mother, but he's even busier these days than he was before, and it's impossible to find a single moment in the day to speak with him. The fact that I'm a maid makes it even harder to garner his attention. When I'm not on break, I continue to do my duty serving Emmeline. Right now, I'm accompanying her as she practices her walk and posture. Ophelia has been helping her, pointing out any mistakes she finds. I know how hard this is, dear. I had to go through this training as well before I married the king. Emmeline allows her shoulders to slouch as she lets out an exasperated sigh.
I've always hated these lessons. I thought my posture was fine. This is supposed to refine it, and yet all these lessons have been doing is hurting my back.
Oh, Emmeline, you'll get the hang of this. You just need to keep practicing.
But Mother, I've had the same lesson before. Why must I do it again?
Because you slouch when you walk, and that is unbecoming of a princess. Emmeline scowls at her mother, and Ophelia's frown falls away as she bursts into laughter.
Mother, you're not helping!
The atmosphere in the room is far from heavy as Emmeline and her mother continue to conduct their lessons. It's almost the exact opposite of the lessons I had with Mother. Mother always got angry when I made even the smallest mistakes. I know this is hard, but as the crown princess, all eyes will be on you during the ball. The people there will judge any small mistakes you make, which is why you need to be in top form on that night.
I know.
Ophelia claps her hands. All right, now to start again. Emmeline groans before heading to the far wall and straightening her back. She takes a deep breath, puts a book on her head, and begins to walk again. The book falls from her head on her third step. She sighs, moves back, and starts the process again. It's kind of hard to hold a book on your head because your head isn't flat on the top. And also, then it's kind of like you have to keep your head straight. Well, I mean, I guess, but it's like you need to have like a thing with that, like, okay, this is level. Now let's put a book on your head, like a hat. That's it. I'm going to invent it. I'm going to invent like a headband that you put on your head that you put a little level. And it's got a level. Okay, it tells you when it's flat, so that's easier to be a princess and learn how to walk with your head straight. There you go. I don't fucking know. It'll be, they'll only need like 4 in the world. Like, I'm just kidding. The book falls from her head on the third step. She sighs, moves back, and starts the process again. Neither of us break Emmeline's concentration by speaking. We stand idly by and watch as she tries time and time again. I'm surprised when Ophelia leans towards me and begins to whisper. Spacey, I've been meaning to say this before, but I'm grateful that you're friends with my daughter. I look at Ophelia's smiling face with surprise. I never agreed to be your friend. You're not against the princess making friends with her servants? Why would I be? I actually wish more of the staff here wouldn't be so uptight, since I would love for Emmeline to be on good terms with the people who serve her. Besides, social status is never an obstacle to friendship. Ophelia shifts her gaze back to Emmeline, who is now picking up the book that has once again fallen from her head. No matter your occupation or status, a friend is always a friend. You've given Emmeline the courage she needs to face the many challenges she has ahead of her. In a way, you're like family, since you're always around us. Like family. Come what may, both family and friends are there for you and will accept you for who you are. Even before I was cursed, Emmeline was always trying to be my friend. I mean, she knew all along who my mother was and still wanted to be my friend. The thought makes me remember what Parfait told me about Mother threatening to kill Ophelia if the king didn't marry her. I turned to Ophelia, curious. Your Majesty, may I ask what you know about the late Queen's rule? Ophelia looks at me quizzically, so I quickly add a thoughtless lie. I was not an Angel, and I've only heard stories. I just thought it was so hard to believe. What with how peaceful things are in the palace right now? The kingdom was a dark place back then.
People lived in fear under her rule. The king had no real power over Angeal. The witches had free reign over the kingdom. They cast the fairy tale curse incessantly and on a whim. We barely left our house in fear of becoming cursed. Mother's reign was that terrible? The king still blames himself for the darkness that befell Angeal during that time. This is why he works day in and out to stabilize the country and to put smiles on everyone's faces. I remember long ago how he told me one of the reasons he would always continue to work hard for this kingdom was because he wanted to make a brighter tomorrow for his children. Ophelia looks confused for a few moments and brushes off the awkwardness with a small chuckle. See, they all know I exist somewhere, deep down. He helps the family in his own way. Is it possible that he said that with me in mind? And Ophelia's slip up. Then maybe he was always referring to Emmeline and Rod. The kingdom's come a long way since then, hasn't it? There's still witches here and there, but most of them don't bother others. I pray that the peace we're experiencing right now will last. I see. Thank you for telling me. It's a bit of a dreary topic, but I'm happy to have helped. If you need anything else, please don't hesitate to call on me. I know I may not be a traditional protocol for a queen, but then I do not consider myself a typical queen. I try my best to listen to everyone here, regardless of what their title or name might be. I can only nod at her in response. Princess or maid, the way Ophelia has treated me has never changed. She's always treated me with kindness, regardless of who I am. I never saw it before because I was always so distant from everyone. Now I see that Ophelia treats everyone here with kindness, regardless of social status. I was always frustrated by the servants when they compared Ophelia to Mother, saying she was superior. But now, I think I understand why they would make such comparisons. Emmeline dismisses me after my lessons, and I begin to head immediately back to my room. I've just turned a corner when I notice Sir Alcester standing before me, scowling.
Watch where you're going, child.
I quickly avert my gaze, not wanting a confrontation. He always looks at me so strangely, almost like he could see into my mind, or is trying to. My apologies, Sir Alcester. Sir Alcester nods his head at me stiffly before walking off.
You are pardoned, princess.
I turn to stare after him, but he's already turned the corner. My blood becomes cold. Was that just a slip of the tongue? But how else could he know that I'm the princess? Is it possible that he's cursed? No. Somehow that doesn't seem right. But if he doesn't have the fairy tale curse, could he be the witch that Delora warned me about? What reason would he have for unveiling his identity then? Unless he just wants to intimidate me further. It occurs to me that Fritz still remembers who I am. Did he tell his father about me? Now I'm even more confused about who I should trust. Spacey? I jump when I hear Rod call me. His expression slowly creases with something that looks like worry. You're pale. Did something happen? Would he believe me if I told him? Tell him. Sir Alcester knows that I'm the princess. Do you think he's the witch Delora was talking about?
There's no question about that. Tell him, don't tell him. Trust him. Fucking trust him. I don't care if that's a bad thing to do. We motherfucking doing it.
I whisper the words to him, and he responds by raising his eyebrows, looking surprised.
What makes you say that? This isn't just because of the standoffish way he acts, is it?
You don't believe me? Rod sighs. I never said that I didn't. It's just that we can't blindly accuse anyone without any real proof. Rod stares at me for a few moments, then closes his eyes, his eyebrows slightly furrowed with thought. Sir Fitzgerald also remembers who you are. I don't want to be so suspicious of Fritz, but I don't think blindly trusting him will be right either, given the circumstances. You need to stay vigilant around him. If anything happens, you can come talk to me about it. You're worried about me? Rod averts his gaze from me. Of course I am.
Wow, you're actually being honest.
What? Rod glares at Sebi before pinching his cheek. Anyway, I must leave now. I have a dance to practice for. Dance? But you already know how to dance. What do you have left to practice? Rod doesn't answer and only walks away. I decide to follow after him. Why did you follow me? Because I love you? No, what? I shrug. I wanted to see you practice. To be honest, I want to see him dance.
I already know that Emmeline is very clumsy when it comes to dancing, but outside of the one practice with Emmeline, I've never seen Rod dance. Emmeline always gloats on his behalf, but I've yet to witness Rod's supposed talent with my own eyes. Our dance together was so short, I barely had any time to judge him. I do not practice with an audience. Why? It's my preference.
Rod is easily embarrassed.
Rod groans and pinches one of Sebby's cheeks, glowering.
Sorry!
Rod reluctantly releases the bunny with a sigh. I notice you've been talking more lately, Sebby.
Oh, that's because Rod here has been saying things that contradict what he thinks or feels.
Sebby makes a sound of defeat as Rod once again pinches one of his cheeks. Rod stares at me with wide eyes, and I stare back, beginning to panic. What's wrong? You smiled again. I put a hand to my mouth, flushing. I was smiling again? I never even noticed.
It was a pretty smile, Princess. Right, Rod?
Rod quickly turns away, cheeks slightly pink. I need to practice now, so I'd appreciate you leaving. You didn't even command me to leave. What a surprise. Emmeline said you were a really good dancer. I want to see it with my own eyes. Why? So you can judge me? I want to be the cocky. I almost wonder if now is a good time to be a cocky person with him. Like, I'm not here to judge you. Or like, should we goad him a little bit? I don't know. I want to be like, I'm sure that I'm a better dancer than you. Like, friendly competition? Or, I'm not here to judge you. I feel like if we goad him a little, be like, I'm sure I'm better than you. He'll be like, oh yeah, and then he'll start dancing and he'll get the confidence to dance. That's kind of what I feel like this is going to go. Like, I'm not here to judge you. Look, that's fine, but please just go. Okay, fine, and we leave, right? The scowl on Rod's face deepens. I almost smirk. Maybe he's reluctant to show me, but Rod is also full of pride. He's more likely to show me if I pose a challenge. Ha ha! You didn't even answer the question. And? Are you underestimating my dancing? The others may have forgotten, but you still remember, do you not? I am a princess, and was taught by the kingdom's best instructor. I say the words with pride, and I notice Rod's lip twitch in response. It actually makes me feel accomplished to get under Rod's skin when he's usually the one getting under mine. Having the best instructor does not automatically make you the best dancer. I'm pretty confident with my own skills. Say what you want, but I'll refuse to believe you without any proof. I still say that I'm a better dancer than you are. Rod steps forward and pulls me suddenly into his arms, taking me by surprise. He looks at me, clearly determined. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm motherfucking talking about. Yeah. Fine then. You'll have your proof. I'll make you swallow those words with this dance. We shall see. Rod starts leading the dance. He glides us into the imaginary rhythm of a waltz. Even without the music, I'm able to count the steps in my head as I follow his lead. This is different from that short dance we showed Emmeline. Rod's movements are graceful, his touch gentle as he leads me to an underarm twirl. Oh! When I come to face him once again, I notice the gentle way he stares at me. The usual hardness of his expression is gone, melted into something relaxed. I find myself staring back at him, looking into his eyes. Perhaps Rod does have some gentleness to him. Our gaze does not break as he twirls me. You have beautiful eyes. Rod's eyes widen as mine do. He abruptly lets go of my hands and steps back. I can only stare at him, my face warm.
It wasn't me this time! That was more than just a thought, I swear!
Rod says nothing, though his cheeks continue to darken with embarrassment. Really? Because your eyes are gorgeous, too.
Oh my!
Rod and I turn to look at Emmeline, who's hovering by the door. Excuse me. Rod quickly walks through the doorway and out into the hallway, leaving Emmeline and I alone in the room. What just happened?
That was a wonderful dance, Spacey!
You were watching?
I only just saw the last few minutes, but you know, the two of you really did look like a couple. It was sweet.
A couple?
Oh, you're blushing.
I put a hand to my cheek and turn away with a scowl. I am not. Besides, whatever just happened was embarrassing.
Do you like Rod?
I stare at her. I do not. Also, you're forgetting that I'm a maid who cannot be with a prince even if I wanted to. He's grumpy and cold. And even though we're not blood related, he's still my stepbrother. If only Emmeline realized how crazy her words were in light of the truth. Emmeline suddenly looks starry-eyed as she giggles at me.
Love knows no boundaries, dear Spacey. Besides, he seems to like you.
Your brother hates me.
Rod can be a contradiction sometimes. Sometimes he says the opposite of what he feels. It's only when you get to know him as well as I do that you realize what his truths are.
I can't help but think of Sebi, who always speaks Rod's thoughts aloud when they're contradictory.
He was always so mean to Viorica when we were young. He'd always bully her for being a crybaby, even though he cried far more often. But then I realized that he treated her more special than he did anyone else. Back then, I knew that he liked her. I thought that one day the two of them might even grow to love each other, but...
Emmeline lets out a long sigh as she directs her attention out the window. And you're just basically asking, like, you guys look like a couple, blah, blah, blah. Do you love my brother, huh? And then you're like, oh, he used to be in love with this girl. And you're like, thanks for crushing my hopes.
His attitude toward her has changed ever since he was cursed. Then they grew even more distant when Viorica found a lover.
Is that the reason why you've been going to the toy shop with Prince Rod? Because you want to bring them back together? Emmeline nods.
The three of us were best friends. The Three Musketeers. It's not the same without Rod. I keep on asking him what's wrong, but he refuses to tell me. He's always been stubborn, but it's not like him to keep secrets. It's really frustrating because I have no idea what I should do to help him.
I thought he was just being stubborn with me, but apparently no amount of prodding, even from his own family, will make him budge. Why is he being so difficult? I hope you don't mind me asking. But, what do you know about his curse? Emmeline stares at me for a few moments before nodding.
You're my friend, Spacey, and I know that I can confide in you.
I know that sometimes I'm not trusting enough, but I think Emmeline is still far too trusting.
We only know that he has the mermaid's curse. I've read the story so many times, hoping that I could figure out some way to break his curse.
I think back and realize that I'd actually read the beginning of The Little Mermaid a long time ago, but I didn't have the chance to finish it because I was caught by Mother. The Little Mermaid is about a mermaid who trades her voice for legs, right?
Yes, she does it so she can be with her prince. Rod's voice was taken away, but I'm sure that he was given something in exchange. I've heard that curses are derived from the original tales, but that they're twisted in some way to fit the format of a curse.
I nod slowly, thoughtful. I have a strong feeling that Rod's curse is related to Viorica, but I can't draw the connection. Still, Viorica might be the key to understanding his curse. Maybe if he breaks his curse, she becomes a mermaid. Maybe she's a fucking mermaid. You know what I mean? But she doesn't realize she's cursed. She wouldn't know. But you know what I mean? But why would that be like his... I don't know. If Rod won't divulge anything, the next best chance we have of understanding his curse might be going through Viorica. Be careful what you wish for. I feel like that's the theme of the whole game, right? Today's the first time I'm leaving the palace on a day off. Usually I choose to stay inside. Whereas the other servants always leave to go home, I never see any reason to leave since this has always been my home. And the Martian has never been home. Besides, it's not as if I want to return. Not after that conversation we all shared last time. Thus, I've spent most of my days asking questions about Mother's reign, inquiring when and where I can. My opinions don't surprise me. I was so scared of her! One wrong move and she'd have you thrown in prison! Townsfolk would always wait for her to pass by before leaving their houses. She was a tyrant! The kingdom is a better place now that she's gone! There's no reason for them to lie to me. The more I hear, the more my old life makes sense to me. I know now why the king never seemed to love Mother, and why the people hated her, and why he hates me. The reason people look at me with such fear. However, it's been months since I've been glared at in public. There's one good thing this curse did for me. It's that it allows me to travel around town without being noticed. As Viorica's shop comes into view, my thoughts shift to the reason I've left the palace in the first place. If Rod won't tell me anything, I'll have to ask Viorica. She must be related in some way to his curse. I pause outside the door to the toy shop. With a deep breath, I push the door open.
Welcome!
The moment she sees me, her expression becomes confused. Oh, you're the princess's maid, Spacey, wasn't it? I nod at her. You've never come in here alone before. What can I help you with? I wanted to ask you something. It's about Prince Rod. Prince Rod? Did something happen to him? Is he okay? He's fine. Like, she's got blue motherfucking hair. That's all I have to say, right? She's a motherfucking mermaid. She sighs with relief. I don't know. Because I'm thinking he's not a mermaid because his family would know if he was a motherfucking mermaid. Or if they were merpeople and the king was in love with his mother. So obviously, I don't know. Then what is it you'd like to ask? I just wanted to know if you knew anything about Prince Rod's sudden muteness. Viorka stares at me for a few moments before she shakes her head. I only know that it happened soon after I met my fiancé, Decimond. What reason do you have for asking? Well, I try to think of a plausible explanation for this, and I immediately consider Emmeline. Victoria's Emmeline's best friend. Surely she'd be willing to help if she knew I was doing this for Emmeline. Prince Rod has been very quiet recently. Princess Emmeline has been worried sick about him, but he refuses to say anything even to her. I've been trying to gather information that might be helpful in discerning the cause. After she met her fiancé, his muteness happened. So I'm thinking, did he have feelings for her, but he couldn't express those feelings? So she met someone else, then he was cursed with muteness and not being able to actually express himself. Remember, he's like a contradiction. So like maybe that's a thing. So maybe he had feelings for her, and then maybe breaking his curse would be opening up and telling someone you love them. Being able to actually express your feelings. Because like he fucked up. He didn't do it with her and like whatever. And you let her go. But that happens to everybody, but like he's cursed now? I don't know, man. I'm just throwing shit out there because I can't figure out the reverse curse stuff. I stare at her expectantly, hoping my gaze holds nothing but determination. Finally, Viorka smiles. She's lucky to have a dedicated friend like you. Still not accustomed to the fact that Emmeline considers me a friend. Before she became the princess, I was her first confidant. We were like sisters. But now she's living in the castle. We no longer have the luxury of spending so much time together. I worry about her constantly. Even around me, Em always tended to keep her problems to herself at first. She doesn't like to bother other people with them. It's hard not to agree. With the way Emmeline was always smiling before, I never thought she had any problems in her life. It was only recently that I discovered she was hiding all of her loneliness and pain behind a smile. What a relief that she has befriended someone who cares so much about her. I don't know if I can be much help, but I'll tell you what I know if it'll help Emmeline. I know we're getting like close, so we'll... To start with, I'm not exactly sure how everything changed, but it all happened so suddenly. All I know is that after the night I met Decimond, our relationship changed. At first, he still smiled, but recently he's been avoiding me. What happened between the two of you the night you met your fiancé? Nothing. Rod and I didn't meet on that day. Prince Rod wasn't there? No, but soon after what happened that night, Rod grew distant. What happened? It was a stormy night, and I went heading back home. I took the route by the riverbank because it was the shortest route. It was foolish of me. The road was slippery and full of mud. I lost my footing and fell into the water. Oh, God. She'd have drowned. Probably, somehow. The waves were strong, and I was certain I was going to drown. I don't remember what happened in the darkness of that water, only that when I woke up, my head was in Decimond's lap. That was the first time we met, but not the last. He carried me home, and he came by every day as I was recovering. And then he came to visit even after I'd recovered. I tried not to get my hopes up too much, because what could this nobleman see in me, a mere commoner? But I still ended up falling in love with him. You have no idea how happy I was when he said he loved me too. It was a dream come true. Of course, every girl dreams of marrying a prince. It was in all the fairy tales I read as a child. None of that was at all related to Rod. How does this relate to his curse? You said your relationship with Prince Rod changed after that night. What happened? Viorka sighs. I told Em and Rod about Decimond soon after the incident. Em was happy that the two of us had fallen in love, but Rod didn't say much of anything. That's when I noticed he started growing distant, and when I realized that he also lost his voice. Yeah, it has something to do with her. That's why she fell in love, and that's why she fell in love with someone else. It has something to do with that. So it's either he didn't save her, or he gave up his chance to save her for someone else. Like, you know what I mean? For her happiness. Like, I don't know. But that seems to me like a noble thing. Like, you shouldn't curse someone for that's weird. He still won't tell me anything, but I figured that he was... Her voice fades, but I know what she's referring to. But I know she's referring to the curse. Sir Rod lost his voice shortly after Viorica met Decimond. The mermaid's curse must have something to do with the tail. The little mermaid traded her voice for legs so she could be with her prince. But that night, the only person who found their prince charming was Viorica, because maybe she would have died. Rod's curse must have something to do with Decimond and Viorica. He became distant with her after finding out about Decimond. Why? And there's the fact that he still spoke to Viorica, even if he was distant. It was only when he found out about their wedding that he became so cold. I frown as I try to organize my thoughts. How did it get to be this late? I'm so sorry, Spacey, but I have to close the shop now. Sorry for the story. I know it has nothing to do with Rod, but it's always after that incident that he began to act strangely. I don't think I was much help, but... I shake my head. You've told me what you could. Viorica walks me to the door, opening it so that both of us can step out onto the street together. I really hope you're able to help Emmeline and Rod. You know what, we should stop now. I was going to, say goodbye and then maybe we'll think, but she might talk a little bit more. So I'm going to stop here. We'll reread this line, but we'll do it in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.